1 in 6 West Virginians are considered to be food insecure. Here in Morgantown, families are lining up at food pantries and distribution centers like this one. Here, they could get essential food supplies, such as spices, spaghetti, and cereals. Economics is not the only impact cryptids have had on West Virginia. In rural communities like this one, locals have embraced these creatures as one of their own. Millions of Americans were impacted by delayed SNAP benefits this fall. I'm Regan Duceman, and coming up on West Virginia Today, I'll show you efforts to fight food insecurity in the Mountain State. Thanks, Lily. Jeremy. In Appalachia, music is more than just something you listen to. It's something you pass down from generation to generation. Appalachian folk music started in the 1700s, but it wasn't first commercially recorded until the 1920s. Today's story is about a jam session doing more than making music. It's keeping history and tradition alive. History is more than just books. I'm Regan Duceman, and after the break on WVU News, I'll tell you how these simple instruments can create more than just sound, but a community. West Virginia students are adjusting to a new statewide rule. I'm Regan Duceman, and I'll tell you how classrooms are going back to the basics without their phones. West Virginia Today starts now. Duceman, and after the break on WVU News, I'll tell you about the 18-year-old and his family making Morgantown a little bit sweeter. 1 in 6 West Virginians are food insecure, and more than 16% of West Virginians live below the poverty line. So, a delay in federal food assistance only made problems for food access worse in many parts of West Virginia. Cryptids are leaving their mark across the Mountain State. I'm Regan Duceman, and coming up on West Virginia Today, I'll tell you how these communities are embracing these local legends. The Percival Pickers have met every Tuesday for the past 50 years and have no intention of stopping anytime soon. Because sometimes we don't need words to bond us. Just open minds, hearts, and ears. Well, that's all for this week's Seen and Heard, the story next door. On a weekday evening, tucked away in a corner of WVU's campus, a circle forms. No stage, no performance, just people and music. This jam session brings together musicians of all ages and skill levels. At the center of it all, community members who say what's happening here is older than any of them.
I think that it's just a really essential element of culture, American culture, Appalachian culture, and I think that there have been, over its history, I feel like Appalachia has been sort of pushed down in a lot of aspects, so I think that being able to have a way to really keep the culture alive and invigorated is really important.
Appalachian music dates back more than 300 years, blending Scots-Irish ballads, African rhythms, and the everyday stories of mountain life. Many of the tunes played today were never written down. They were learned by ear, passed from neighbor to neighbor. Long before concert halls and music festivals, this music lived on front porches and in living rooms, or any space players could find. But this jam band uses the lobby of Percival Hall on WVU's campus in an effort to pass this down to the next generation. One local music teacher says this group strives to keep that oral tradition alive.
The majority of the tunes that we play are all passed down through word of mouth and by just listening. Thankfully, we live in a modern age, and you can kind of look up recordings and things, but most of my favorite tunes I've never heard on the internet, I've only heard here.
These sessions aren't about perfection. Missed notes are welcome, because the point isn't how it sounds, it's that it's still being played. Silvernagel says she keeps coming to these sessions, not only to strum along, but to form bonds.
A lot of these people have become extremely close personal friends of mine. I'm a little newer to this specific jam, but I continue to just meet really, really amazing, wonderful, kind folks. And I just think that there's something about this music that really brings that out in people.
And that's the real magic of Appalachian music. It doesn't live in museums or history books. It lives right here, in shared chords, shared stories, and a community willing to pull up their chair and join in.
Bask in the wisdom of the Mothman.
Every fall, the small town of Point Pleasant transforms into a hotspot for the strange and supernatural. The Mothman Festival draws in cryptid lovers from across the country, all united by mystery and myth.
Things like this make people feel more comfortable to express who they are. And that's one of the great things about this festival in general, is that you can just be yourself.
The Mothman is a 6 to 7 foot tall, large-winged creature with red eyes that West Virginians first reported seeing in the 1960s. It's known as an omen of bad things to come. The first Mothman Festival took place in 2002 and has become a staple for Point Pleasant, drawing in more than 10,000 tourists and generating more than $2 million in economic impact.
Everyone that is walking around right now, they're buying food, they're buying gasoline, they're staying at the hotels, they're going out to dinner at night. Some of these people that are here are not here just one day, they're here for the whole weekend. And when they're not spending money at the event, they're spending money at all the local businesses. So it's really good for the community.
Economics is not the only impact cryptids have had on West Virginia. In rural communities like this one, locals have embraced these creatures as one of their own. A little over 100 miles away in Braxton County, West Virginia, the Flatwoods monster lurks in the shadows and on the hearts of locals. This green and red extraterrestrial was first reported falling from the sky and landing on a local farm. The legends of Mothman and the Flatwoods monster aren't just spooky stories. They are a part of West Virginia's identity.
It's already what's happening in the state, and it's already part of the history of the state. And it's so much better to embrace what's already here, like cryptids and hot dogs and pepperoni rolls, instead of reinventing the wheel and kind of pretending that we're something that we're not.
According to folklorists like Warren, these legends have staying power because of how deeply they're rooted in small communities.
Because the communities here can be so close-knit and so strong, I think the stories that people tell get passed down and they get preserved. So all it takes is one person to come in and say, we'd like to collect the spooky stories that your grandma told you.
From economic boosts to preserving oral history, cryptids are helping keep mountain state culture alive, one legend at a time. This is Regan Duceman reporting live from the Westover Feline Haven here in Westover, West Virginia. This feline haven opened up this past October and since then has had about 50 adoptions. This is important because in West Virginia there are over nearly 180,000 stray cats, which means for every 10 people there's cats like these looking for a home. Now here, when you walk into the adoption, you are greeted by this buddy here. Hello! And he loves treats. The Feline Haven here in Westover is a nonprofit, and they also do community outreach. Like you see here, we have the pet pantry where community members could come in and get litter, dog and cat food, treats, and toys. They also do education here about spaying and neutering. Now here are some of just the cats that are up for adoption currently. We have a mix of young and old. And here at the Westover Feline Haven, they even give away their senior cats for free to ensure that they're having a home for the end of their lives. The cat you're seeing here is Mutt, and he has been the sweetest boy all day, haven't you, Mutt? And then we have some others. Say these two sleepy kitties are siblings, with Mama sleeping up here. Hi, Mama. Hello. And all these cats are available for adoption in this room. Now, in West Virginia, spaying and neutering is extremely important to help decrease the amount of stray kittens. The Westover Feline Haven does take donations. Specifically, they are looking for litter, but anything helps. Alrighty. See lots of friendly cats. Now here at the Feline Haven, these cats can get treatment whether they're sick, whether they need spayed and neutered, or whether they're just waiting for their next home. I'll have more on this story on our upcoming newscast. However, for now, this has been Regan Duceman reporting live from Westover for WVU News.